up in the morning edition, a second fire at Clifton Pier last night leaves Bahamas powering like customers in the dark yet again. The Labor Minister giving an update on the status of jobs threatened by the pending stamp tax on gaming operations. And the Valley Boys celebrating their diamond anniversary. It's a Monday, the start of yet another work week. Good morning, everyone. I'm LaDawn Davis, and this is the Morning Edition. Thank you so much for waking up with us. It's the peak of the hurricane season, and there are 2 hurricanes and 1 tropical storm in the Atlantic Ocean heading west. And to tell us more about what's possibly posing a threat to the Bahamas is Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good morning.
Good morning, LaDawn. It is pretty busy in the tropics this morning. We have Florence, which has been out there for quite a while now, expected to move just between the Bahamas and Bermuda. And now we have Hurricane Isaac, which is heading towards the Lesser Antilles, and that is packing winds of about 85 miles per hour. So we'll keep our eyes on these 2 systems over the next couple of days. And there's yet a third hurricane, which is off of our chart. We expect that one to remain over the open waters and no threat to land. Outside of our studios, just a few clouds, temperature at 81 degrees, relative humidity 83%. The winds are east at 4 miles per hour. Your barometric pressure 1,015.3 millibars. That is 29.98 inches, and it is steady. Temperatures around the islands this morning, picking up some 78s in Freeport, Grand Bahama, Green Atoll, Key in Abaco, Marsh Harp, Abaco at 76. In the Berry Islands, 77 degrees there. We're picking up 82 in Allenstown, Bimini. Harbor Island at 80 degrees. Roxanne, Eleuthera 81. 81 also in Otterstown, Cat Island. Stanley Keys 80 degrees. 80 also in Kemps Bay, St. Andrews. Fresh Creek in Central Andrews at 81 degrees. 81 also in San Salvador and Rum Key in Betsy Bay, Mayaguana 81. Crooked Island 81 degrees, 80 in Clarence-Town, Long Island, also Ragged Island, Acklands 81 degrees, 80 in Matthewtown, Inagua, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 80 degrees. Your boating forecast for today, light and variable winds, very flat seas, 1 to 3 feet over the ocean. High tide takes place at 7:48 this morning, low tide at 2:04 in the afternoon. For the central and southeastern islands today, east to southeast winds 10 to 15 knots, and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. That's going to do it for your first look at weather, the morning edition. Stay tuned. Your forecast for today and tonight is still ahead.
Thanks a lot, Basil. It's the second week that public schools are open, and that means more bumper-to-bumper traffic on our streets. Sieska Adderley has a check on traffic this morning. Good morning, Sieska.
Good morning. This morning's traffic report, we're coming to you from East Street, and this morning we're focusing on the little ones as it is the second week of the 2018-2019 academic year. And joining me live is Corporal Miko Evans from the Traffic Division. Good morning, Corporal Evans. How are you this morning?
Good morning, Ms. Adderley. Good morning, Bahamas.
Now, as thousands make their commute, a lot of them will have little ones heading to school. Just talk about the importance of ensuring that those little ones are safely secured in the vehicles.
It's very important for the little ones to be protected. For far too long, we have observed that the little ones are in the back seat. They're standing up. They are sitting in near the center console. They're hanging out of the windows. This type of behavior will not be accepted nor tolerated from any of the road users at this time.
So how do you properly secure your child?
Well, once you have the child seat, that is the safest place, and that's where we recommend you have the child.
Okay, and so what are the dangers in them not adhering to properly securing their children in their seats?
Well, a lot of times, a lot of the younger ones, they are injured as a result of the neglect from their parents or their guardians. They are hurt.
You're also telling me about the airbag situation and the dangers to that as well.
Yeah, the airbags. You don't want your younger ones to be struck by an airbag. The airbag, the pressure from the airbag, it will be very devastating to the younger ones.
And at what age should a child be allowed to sit in the front seat as opposed to the back seat?
Well, for a child to sit in the front seat, we look at the age of 13 years old. As long as they are under the age of 13, the back seat is the safest place for them to be seated.
And any other tips you want to ensure that children who are heading to school at this hour and in the minutes to follow this broadcast, any safety tips for them?
Well, definitely the safety tips will be awarded to the parents. The younger ones, they are sponges. If they see mom and dad driving around without their seatbelt, they will feel more inclined to do the same thing.
All right, thank you so much. That was Corporal Miko Evans from the Traffic Division, and he is telling you the importance of securing your little ones. Back to you in the studio, LaDawn.
Thanks, Sieska. The Bahamas Power and Light Company urging consumers to conserve energy. This after officers from the Department of Fire Services were called to Clifton Pier to extinguish a second fire there over the weekend. Now, according to Chief Fire Officer Thomas Lightbourne, when they arrived, the fire was contained in the basement.
We immediately proceeded to extinguish it. As we speak now, our officers are still on the scene, assiduously working to have this fire extinguished. We are also supported by the airport fire services. They're here on scene and they're doing their best to assist us with this fire.
Now, like we said earlier, this is a second fire that occurred just hours of each other. The first fire reportedly began Friday night on the engine deck after an operations person attempted to make an adjustment while bringing the DA-11 engine that had been out of service for some time back online. That fire dropped below the engine deck into a basement and was confined to Bunker C, which houses two of BPL's largest engines. That fire was reportedly contained some 3 hours after. Chief Superintendent Walter Evans.
In the first instance, the fire which took place on Friday night, we received this call after 11, and the operations for this fire took us some 4 hours in duration to ensure that we were able to not allow that fire to spread to any of the affected areas, the other unaffected areas at BPL. The fire tonight, this is in the same general vicinity of the fire that we had on Friday evening, and so an investigation has been launched to determine what would have been the cause. We know the kind of effect this can have on the Bahamian public, and so the fire services is mindful, and so that's why the response has been, in terms of from the units, we have had to ramp up our response level to ensure that this fire did not, none of these fires spread to a level whereby there was any major or catastrophic damage. At this point, the BPL will evaluate and they will comment concerning the extent of the damages. However, I can also reassure that an investigation has been launched. Fire services teams will be into BPL first thing Monday morning to conduct an investigation and to conduct inspection of the affected areas.
Now, those two fires resulted in BPL's officials again strongly encouraging customers to conserve energy there. Recommendations rather include turning off lights when not in use, including government buildings turning the temperature up on the thermostats and air conditioners. However, load shedding remains a possibility. In other news this morning, today the Immigration Department goes paperless. Minister of Immigration, the Honorable Brent Simonet, announcing that beginning today, persons entering the Hawkins Hill office will now make their applications for work permits online. This after their documents are scanned. He acknowledged that there has been a slight setback in work permit applications. Now, regarding applications for citizenship, permanent residency, and naturalization, Minister Simonet said that online process is expected to begin in January 2019. It is hoped, though, that going paperless the process will be more efficient. Stay close. We've got more news right after this.
If you own a portfolio of securities within a brokerage account, like stocks, bonds, or mutual funds, you can access a hassle-free loan, known as a margin loan, based on the value of that portfolio. Your investment portfolio is essentially used as collateral for a cash loan. And the benefits are numerous. Simple and straightforward application, quick turnaround, a more competitive interest rate, no requirement for monthly payments. Contact us for more information on margin loans.
Food. It is as essential as air is to breathe. and water is to drink. Food is life. But where does our food come from? The Bahamas has more than 2,000 farmers, but it's hardly enough to keep up with our growing population. Or is it? We traveled the nation to find out the answers to the questions everyone is asking. Can we feed ourselves?
How passionate are you in what you're doing here?
Very passionate. I've not been good at a lot of things, but cooking is one thing that I put my best foot forward every time I step in the kitchen. I do not accept mediocrity. If it's bad before it goes up to the guests, it's not coming out. I'd rather have a dish come out to the guests late and right than on time and wrong.
Welcome to the best of sports world.
For the latest news and highlights in Bahamian culture, tune in to the new Junkanoo 242, Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. on the ZNS Radio and Television Network. Radio Bahamas 1540 a.m. on 104.5 FM and TV 13. Each week, hosts Arlene Nash Ferguson, Eric Hall, and Darren Bastian engages listeners with some of the movers and shakers of Junkanoo and Bahamian culture. Don't miss Junkanoo 242, Saturday at 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. on the ZNS Radio and Television Network.
ZNS is everywhere you are when you download the new ZNS app. Watch our live channel to keep up with what's going on in the nation. News updates, we've got you covered. Tune into our radio stations with just a swipe. On the road, on the go, we're here with you. Available for download on the App Store and the Google Play Store.
He is a cultural photographer that specializes in Junkanoo and Bahamas Junkanoo Carnival. His work has been displayed in many local dailies and in Bahamas Air Onboard magazine. He is also a proud member, perhaps, of the world-famous Valley Boys Junkanoo organization, who are celebrating 60 years. Kevin Cooper, welcome to the Morning Edition.
Good morning.
Now, Mr. Cooper, you have been taking photos of our #1 cultural expression for a very long time now. Talk to me about that, and how far has your photos taken you?
Well, I've been involved with Junkanoo for over 20 years, and I've specialized in taking Junkanoo photographs for, I would say, 12 going on 13 years, and it's a labor of love, really. It started out basically filling a void because at the time, there wasn't a lot of places or venues for people to view their photographs. So I came up with my concept of taking photographs and putting on the internet, and it started out as junkanoopaparazzi.com. Since then, I've moved on from that now to Bacanoo, which is BAHCARNOO, which encompasses Bahamas, Carnival, and Junkanoo. So now my job is full-time, 365 days of the year, because I now have to cover Junkanoo through June through, I'd say, January, and Carnival from January through May. So I have no off-season.
It seems like a lot of work, Mr. Cooper, but is it a lucrative business for you?
It's becoming a lucrative business. It's a labor of love. It started out basically as a passion, and from that it grew into more than just a passion for me, and it's grown so much now to the fact that people are stopping me on the streets and asking me, where's my picture? So I had to move on and move with the time, so now I've started a new website, Bacanoo, which is now encompasses a pay online system where persons can now actually purchase their photograph online without having to necessarily bother me or come to me and says, where my photograph, which they normally do anywhere I am. But I love it, and it's a labor of love, and like you said, there's a lot of work, but when you love it, you put the passion into it, it doesn't feel like work.
Now, has your photography garnered any international publicity or attention?
Well, I wouldn't say necessarily. I don't know how far it's gone internationally, but I know my photographs are locally well responded to in terms of the Bahamas On Board magazine. I've also had my work displayed in the phone book, and several other opportunities have come up. But my basic venue or my basic clientele is the Junkanoo personnel themselves, because they normally come to me to get a picture of themselves because they can't find it anyplace else.
And have you been able to, I guess, get the younger persons more interested in Junkanoo photography?
That in itself is a challenge. The young people, they're sort of like an instant society and they want instant gratification. Everybody has a smartphone. With me, I have to actually get in the back line. It's a lot of work. And the young people usually tell me, man, boss, man, that's too much work, man. I can't deal with that. And I guess that's what really separates me from everybody else, because I'm willing to put the work in. And it's a labor of love. I have to find some individuals who actually love two things. They have to love photography and they have to love Junkanoo or Carnival. Other than that, I don't really think it's a real good fit, because you have to have the passion for it. At one time, I asked two of my friends to assist me at one time, and they came out to me with the complaint, boss man, too much work, I can't deal with that. So it's a labor of love.
Cooper, thank you so much for joining us here on the Morning Edition.
Thank you.
We all love Junkanoo, and for the group with the most wins in the history of Junkanoo, it's time to celebrate. The Valley Boys Junkanoo Group set to celebrate 60 years as an organization with a slate of activities. The group's public relations person, Kishalane O'Brien, fills in the rest of the details.
The month of September with a boat cruise, which will be on the 29th of September, and tickets are now on sale, and so there are very many persons in the group, in the organization, who can be contacted, meaning our chairman, deputy chairpersons, anybody on our senior leadership team if you're interested, and we'd like you to come and enjoy yourselves and have a good time.
O'Brien adding that the group also plans to honor the women who were instrumental in the group's formation.
Organization is called Valley Boys, but next month we are paying a special attention to the women, because without the women, present company included, we wouldn't have been able to get where we are. And so there are many women who've paved the way for us in the Valley to become as formidable as we are. Look at me, I'm the public relations officer in a boys organization. And so, you know, we want to say thank you to the women. And then in November, we will have a grand ball, our 60th anniversary ball on the birth date of our late leader, Mr. Winston Gus Cooper.
For 9 decades, Mortimer's Candies have been providing sweet treats and goodies to Bahamians of all ages. The popular family business, which sits on the top of the hill on East Street, is celebrating a huge milestone. Sieska Adderley is live at Mortimer's Candies, possibly getting a taste of all those goodies. Good morning, Sieska.
Good morning. Well, I don't know about you, but my Monday just got sweeter. Why? Because I'm here live in Mortimer's Candy, and I'm joined with the president, Cale Mortimer. Good morning, Cale, and welcome to the Morning Edition.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I'm even better now that I get to start off my morning here. So just talk to me. You guys are celebrating a major milestone. Talk to me about that.
This year is our 90th anniversary, 4 generations in. We're doing a function on the end of the month, the 29th of September, with free snow cones, free popcorn. Everybody come on out.
All right, perfect. So what do you think has kept you guys going? You said now in your 4th generation of ownership.
Yes, 4th generation. I think it's the consistency of our product that keeps us in business, and our coming back customers. Our own customers are still here with us.
All right, now I know part of that magic I saw in action ahead. I came in with my cameraman Shane, and we got to see the process of how those candies are made. Just talk to me about that process. It's a lengthy one from what I saw.
Yes, it's about an hour and 20 minutes per batch. We still do everything by hand. We water, sugar in the pot, boil it to the right temperature, put it on the table to cool. Once it's cool enough, we then stretch it out into a long rope. Once that's done, we run it through the cutting machine, then it's broken up and goes through the wrapping machine.
All right. So what do you think makes it so special that you all are still doing everything by hand? It's almost the way that it was originally done, right?
Yes, my great-grandfather, Ulrich Mortimer Sr., still doing it the way he started back in Nauvoo.
All right, perfect. And so what are your hopes and your expectations for the future, Cale, as you head into, I guess, 90 years and beyond?
I look forward to expanding, setting up 1 or 2 stores in the Family Islands.
All right, sounds good. You heard from the president, Cale Mortimer of Mortimer's Candy. They're now into their 4th generation of ownership. They're having a special event for all of you new and ongoing customers. It's a sweet Monday. I'm going to chow down on some stuff. I may think about bringing you guys something back in this studio, but in the meantime, back to you, LaDawn.
Especially it seems as if Sieska is still in birthday mode. You know, her birthday.
Sieska's got herself in trouble. She's thinking about she better bring us back some sweet. But that story reminded me so much of my grandparents back in the days. We used to ride, jump in the back of my granddaddy's big Suburban and ride up on that hill and get those green candy that you saw making there. Oh, and the taste is still the same.
I can't wait. And so what's coming up in sports?
Coming up in sports, it was a big weekend for Shawnee. Also, we have an athlete at the World Rowing Championships in Bulgaria.
That story and more ahead in sports.
We live in a hurricane zone, so safety, security, and protection of our homes and businesses is very important. That's why We Buy, You Sell, the Hurricane Impact Window and Door Specialists, offers 100% fully laminated hurricane impact windows and doors designed to withstand all category storms. Our prices are 30 to 50% lower than our competitors. We also sell porcelain, mosaic, and plank tiles. Visit our showroom and let our trained, certified staff cater to your needs. We Buy, You Sell, located number 163 Robinson Road in the old Hastings building. Call 324-6427 or 698-1141. Don't get blown away this hurricane season. Visit us today.
Now you can watch the ZNS network of channels absolutely free. That's right, ZNS is now broadcasting 3 separate channels free to air on Channel 13. One channel has the regular ZNS TV HD programming. One is the Parliamentary channel, and one is the 24/7 television community page. These channels may be accessed simply by attaching either a rabbit ears antenna or an indoor amplified antenna to the RF input connector on the back of your digital television or flat screen TV. Once the antenna is connected, select TV mode and choose Auto Scan, and your TV will automatically pick up Channel 13 at no charge. Once you're on Channel 13, just use the channel selector to go to each of the 3 ZNS free channels. Antennas are available on many sites online. Free TV, ZNS brings it back to you.
Good morning. It was a weekend for Shawnee Miller-Uibo, capping off another successful undefeated season with a stellar performance at the IAAF Continental Cup in Ostrava. After helping Team Americas to a win in a 4x1 in 42.11 seconds on Saturday, came back against the studded fielder Daphne Schiffers of the Netherlands and Marie-José Toulouse of the Ivory Coast to win the half lapper in 22.16 seconds. Schiffers was second in 22.28 and Toulouse third in 22.61.
I definitely am. I just give all thanks and praise for allowing me to come in here and finish up the season healthy and get some more points for the team and to also finish my season undefeated. So I'm very happy with how everything went.
The World Rowing Championships going on in Bulgaria. Jason Williams, the lone Bahamian there competing in the singles sculls, got off to a slow start and finished 4th in his heat in 7 minutes 57.39 seconds. The heat won by Jason Osborne of Germany, who set a new world's best in 6:41.06. This is something Jason has been training for quite some time.
Yeah, I've been training for a year now and training really hard. And I'm really excited to show the Bahamian public and I guess the rest of the world that Bahamians can dominate in the sport, and you know, we're blessed with a natural track, and that's where I've been training. So to finally be on the world stage and compete against everybody else and to rank up with them is, for me, it's a big accomplishment for the sports in our country.
Now, Jason, the event featuring so many of the world's best, just how many countries are there and how's the competition?
Well, there are about 62 countries from around the world, and the competition is nothing short of fierce. In my heat, the German, he broke the world record, so it was really fast, and it is kind of fierce, and I've had to adjust my game plan. And
now the repechage is on Tuesday, that's the semi-finals, and you've already gotten your feet wet. How do you approach that race?
For the next race, the repechage, and since I got my first race out of my system, I'm really excited about the next race and really excited to throw down the hammer, as it were, and take no prisoners and really do much better, because I would have already understand how the boat is and what adjustments were needed.
Thanks a lot, Jason, from Bulgaria this morning. And that's going to do it for your first check on sports. Thanks for starting the week off on the right foot.
You thought it was the talk of the town, but get ready for more.
More energy, more excitement, exhilarating, compelling, informative, educational talk on The Conversation.
I'm Shanique Miller. Pull up a chair with a cup of tea and join me weekdays at 4 on Radio Bahamas 1540 AM, 104.5 FM, and The Light 810 AM for The Conversation. I'm excited to have you around the table.
Testing 1, 2.
At the ZNS Northern Service. Did you know that ZNS is right at your fingertips when you download the new ZNS app? Miss something in our newscast? That's okay. Simply pull up the app, swipe, and you'll find all of our news headlines and highlights. So what are you waiting for? Download the new ZNS app today.
In our final look at weather, Hurricane Florence now packing winds of 105 miles per hour, moving toward the west-northwest at about 9 miles per hour, and we expect Florence to move just between the Bahamas and Bermuda during the middle part of this week, and bumping up to a Category 4. But there will certainly be some large sea swells generated by the system in the middle of next week as it passes, so the northern coast and eastern coast of most of the easterly islands of the Bahamas will be impacted by those large sea swells. And then we have out to sea, we have another hurricane out there. This one, no problem to landmass at all. We expect it to continue moving toward the west-northwest. It's now packing winds of about 85 miles per hour, and it's carried the name of Florence. And then a little closer, we have Isaac, which is taking aim for the Lesser Antilles. Right now, it's packing winds of about 75 miles per hour, moving due west at about 13 miles per hour. And by Thursday, thereabout, it should be crossing the Lesser Antilles as a tropical storm, and that will certainly be good news for them, because that strong hurricane force winds, they just had a very busy season last year where there was a lot of devastation in the Lesser Antilles, so we don't want to see any major hurricanes passing through there as well. Satellite pictures showing not well organized. That's Isaac as it moves towards the west, and this is Florence, which has been out there now for quite a while, a little over a week or so. Mostly sunny and hot today, high temperature getting up to 89 degrees, and tonight you can look for some patchy clouds, a bit on the warm side with a low temperature of 79 degrees. Your extended weather forecast, pretty nice weather right into Wednesday, bringing some showers back in the forecast on Thursday and Friday, and that will be pretty much due to Florence making that trek towards the north and west, remaining well to the northeast of the Bahamas.
Thanks a lot for that weather update, Basil. And that does it for the morning edition. Thank you so much for waking up with us. Once again, I'm LaDawn Davis. See you right back here tomorrow morning.